Sometimes when we think about getting organized and being productive, we picture perfect pantries and everything just looking gorgeous. And then when we try to do those things ourselves, sometimes we feel a little let down by the results, right? I've fallen into this trap as well, but I've come to learn that the joy of organizing isn't perfection, it's creativity. It's creativity as we organize, and it's creativity with the time that we now have once we are organized. Today I'm sharing 4 ways to enhance our creativity as we organize, and today's video is inspired by 4 of our community members who submitted their photos of amazing ways that they have created order and joy in their lives. So one is a planner that Brenda created totally on her own because it fit her needs. Next we have a community member who made her support materials out of cereal boxes. Then we have Marina, who created a lovely dress that she sewed by herself. And Natalie created an awesome summer plan for her busy household of children. My hope is by the end of this video, you're going to have new ideas on how you can unlock your creativity and feel that joy that comes from getting organized. As a quick backstory, I was not okay with imperfection as a child. In 2nd grade, we had an assignment to make a little clay figurine and write a story. So I made Sammy the seal, and I wrote a whole story in my little handwriting, as a 7 or 8-year-old. And when it came time to present it to the class, I was so embarrassed. I shoved it into the back of the desk and just told the teacher I hadn't done the assignment. And one time in 5th grade, I was supposed to give a speech, and I had a little speech prepared for an event, and I threw it in the trash can and just said I wouldn't do it. And then even in high school, if I was playing a piano piece and I couldn't do it perfectly, I would just give up, even if I could have practiced more and made something awesome. But I have learned over time, and particularly here at Learn to Become, that it's okay if we're not perfect. There is so much joy in creating, and let's dive in and talk about some ways we can all do that. Idea number 1 is to prioritize function over fancy. So I really want to highlight these cereal box support materials that were created by one of our community members. One of the things that we now emphasize as we walk people through the process of building their Command Central is if you can just remember function over fancy, you're going to move forward. Because so many people would get stuck thinking, oh, I need to buy some really expensive items, or I need to go to the office supply store, or I need something to look beautiful. But when they can just start with whatever they have, boxes if needed, file folders, papers, just whatever, get started and get the process going, then you're going to have the results. And I think this applies to the bigger area of our lives too. Whatever you're organizing, creating, moving forward on, if you can just get it functional, the fanciness can come later. Second is to identify the hole in the bookshelf. So I took a creative writing class in college, and one of the things my teacher said that has just stayed with me all these years was when you go to write something, look for the hole in the bookshelf. Look for what hasn't been written, and look for what you can uniquely contribute. So I love this with Brenda's example, the planner she made. She looked all over and couldn't find exactly what she wanted. So she went and made something. She filled that hole in the planner shelf, right, with what she wanted. And I love this too when you think about, okay, once I am organized and I'm moving forward on projects, or maybe I'm volunteering somewhere, or I'm contributing in my community, or I'm making a new business or something like that, you ask that question, what's that hole in the bookshelf that I can fill? One fun one lately is I've been eating a lot more plant-based recipes, and they were starting to feel really boring to me. And then I found this Instagrammer and YouTuber named Broccoli Mom. She's so cute, and she's so excited about her food. So she showed me how she makes ice cream out of fruit and like zucchini, and it's so good. I love her ice cream. And so she really filled a hole in the bookshelf for me, where she found fun, exciting ways to enjoy healthy food. And that's really impacted me. And really, when you think about it, everything that you love was created by someone. They uniquely filled a hole in the bookshelf, and each of us can do the same. Number 3 is to focus on the joy of making something with your own 2 hands. Marina is an amazing example of this. She shared this photo of her wearing a dress that she'd made by herself, and she was singing and performing in that dress. And I just thought, okay, that is creativity. And she said, this is what I was able to do because I built my system and I got all organized. Now she had a plan, and she could work on the dress bit by bit, and she could use her talents and skills. And I love that. And that's something that I want for each of us. I have a sister who loves taking pictures, and so she takes beautiful photos and shares them with other people. I recently started taking an art class from my friend Jen. I painted my first aspens and actually finished it, even though it wasn't perfect. And it feels so good because now it's hanging downstairs in the basement, and every time I walk by it, I think, oh, I painted that. And it just feels kind of exciting. And there's one more example where we had someone who is in our community who was really working to clean up their home. And they finally got the general living room area that had the piano in it all clean and organized. And then she posted and said, my husband invited his friend over so they could have a jam session. I forget what instrument his friend played, but they got together with their two musical instruments, had a jam session in the living room because it was clean and there was space to do it. And so this is the kind of thing that just makes me feel really excited about you being able to clean and organize your home and create that space. Because then when you have space, it's like you can't help but be creative. You start feeling excited about, well, what am I going to make? Is it going to be music? Is it new recipes? Is it something, a new project? I'm going to write a book, whatever it is. But then you have space to build something, create something with your own two hands, and that brings so much joy. Idea number 4 is to spread the love. Because as you're starting to make these changes and bring more creativity in your life, it's fun to involve our family and our friends in the process. And Natalie was such a great example of this, where she shared how she sat down with her children at the beginning of their summer break, and they started creating their routines and projects and goals and like things they were going to be working on together during that summer. So as she learned how to get organized and create structure for her life, she's then able to help her children to do the same. Those are the kinds of things that we did as our kids were growing up, and it was not always so fun for them, but it was always helpful for us. And I think in hindsight, it was helpful for all of us to be able to have some kind of a fun structure. And I love the idea of saying, how can I take this skill and use it to bless someone else? Now, a quick note for the creatives. I hear all the time people who are creative who say, I don't like getting organized because it's too restrictive and I just like to fly by the seat of my pants. I hear that phrase all the time, fly by the seat of my pants. But what I would say is that I think you can fly way better by the seat of your pants if you have an organizational structure supporting you while you're away. Because if you think about it, if you already have systems in place, not only to just keep the routines going, keep things in order, but also to know what your commitments are and what your goals are and how things are going, then when you want to go do something fun or go create something or go, do something that maybe was unexpected or unplanned, you can, because you know what you're not doing. And that's a huge concept that I think will revolutionize the way that you work and hopefully bring you a lot of joy. So I'd love to hear in the comments, how are you using organization to help you to be more creative? I love creating this culture and this environment here at Learn, Do, Become, where we don't have to be perfect. It's okay, we're all learning and growing, but we can have true joy as we get organized. Okay, see you soon at Learn, Do, Become.